Morning, Rock Hill. Pastor Kyle with the Monday morning sermon recap. Yesterday we looked at the story of Jairus' daughter and the woman who was healed of chronic bleeding for 12 years in Mark chapter 5. I love this story kind of sandwiched together because it really just shows the power of Jesus in the midst of our struggles, that there are tons of things going on that Jesus sees that we don't. So it starts with Jairus begging Jesus to come heal his daughter. It's interrupted by this woman who touches the hem of Jesus' garment and is healed. It goes forward with Jairus' daughter dying, and then Jesus coming with mere words, "Honey, get up, Talitha kume, little girl, I say to you, get up." He raises this girl from the dead. And so the things we learn from this story is that Jesus is often on his own timeline, not ours. It would have been probably torture to be Jairus in the midst of this, why Jesus is stopping to treat a chronic condition when his little girl has an acute condition and might be dying, and is dying. But Jesus is seeing hundreds of different things, thousands of different things going on. He is on his own timeline, and he is worthy to be trusted. Second, that Jesus asks us to not fear, but to trust him in situations that are hard to trust him. When the messenger comes and tells Jairus that his daughter is dead, at that moment Jesus says, "No, Jairus, trust me. I've got this." And it's a lot like that in our lives. It's often in the midst of the storm. It's often when things look the bleakest, when our worst fears are realized, that Jesus invites us in that moment to trust him. And he comes through, even if it's not with the answer that we want. Third, we see that we often come to Jesus with a desire for something and we get so much more. The woman who touched Jesus' garment wanted to be healed of her disease. She got so much more, as she was not only healed of her disease, but commended for her faith and healed completely by Jesus. Jesus does that in our life. Finally, when we're in situations where it doesn't seem like God has come through, where it seems like he's let us down, where our daughter died, where our dreams were shattered and there was no happy ending or seeming happy ending, how can we trust God in those moments? We know he has the power, but he doesn't act. In those moments, when it's hardest to trust God, we can trust his character when philosophy fails us, when logic fails us, because we know he's not a God who is distant from our pain, but rather he is a father who knows what it's like to lose a son. He knows what it's like to lose a son that was absolutely perfect, unlike our children, who willingly gave up his son so that we could have life. He's not a God disconnected from our pain and our suffering, but one who has embraced it and entered it in every way so that we could have life, so that we could be restored, so that we could be saved. And so this God, even in the worst of storms, even in the worst of circumstances, even when as a parent our worst fear is realized, is worthy of our trust.